Hi all, Ellis here, back on it again, back out on a run in my, I've just rushed up an hill just before I set off, and that's why I sound like extra out of breath today. So, yes, this is Ellis here, running with my phone on a selfie stick, chatting to you about what I know, or what little I know, or what I've learned about business. If anybody's not watched the show before, podcast, it's not a podcast. Maybe I could put them on Spotify actually, but then maybe just me. Maybe me running with no context and Spotify. Well, it'd be a bit weird. Me just deep breathing all the way through. But yes, anybody's not watched the show before. I'm Ellis Eccles. I am documenting my journey from business amateur to hopefully successful business owner. Well, digital business owner anyway. So, and what made my successful is to have a business that I've created from almost nothing that can support me and my family. That's what we're looking at. Now, how I've been documenting this, I've been going out on runs. I've been going out with my dogs on the runs as well. Today, we have got Ebby, there she is, or try and get her in there, she's a bit camera shy. Our golden retriever. You might have, if you watched my previous videos, you might have seen me go out with Layla, who is our Springer Spaniel. She has had a bit of an injury over the past couple of months, and while she's okay now, I just don't want to be going on too much of runs too early. I've been doing these every other day, and I just don't want that injury to come back because of well, vets are expensive. The northerner comes out on me. I hate spending money, but I will if I have to. So, the usual format is in these, for at least the past two videos anyway. I've been telling you, giving you a bit of business update, and what I wanted to do was spend half of it talking about a business update about my business and how's it's going and what I've learned, and then discuss something that's on my mind about business. So in the past I've talked about branding, sales, fossil fuels, I think I have. Yeah, pretty much stuff like that. And I'm hoping to get back to that format today because I've had two videos where I've just been documenting some positives, some good times we've had to this business journey, and document a lot of doom and gloom. And since the last video, we haven't had any doom and gloom yet. Well, not too much anyway. So let's see if we can try and get to the old format. So let's start an update on the business company, what's been going off. So since my last video on Friday, I've just been doing more and more testing and streamlining of the product. So if people don't know what the product is, I've set up a internet site that allows people who live in rural areas to get the cheapest price on their heating oil, but it also lets people select suppliers not only based upon price but attributes such as their ratings, what freebies are handing out, the Trustpilot reviews, and what also on the back end for suppliers, it allows for data analytics, allows suppliers to strategically manage their inventory or stock. Same thing. So set up this business really out of a need for myself, really. It does me head in, not be able to get the cheapest energy price, but also the fact that in my local villages around here, a lot of people in the older generation who necessary, we find it a bit harder to find the cheapest price. And actually, for a lot of these people, every penny counts, especially in winter. So that's why I set it up. To be helpful to me and everybody else around me. So, yes, since Friday, so you might have known, my last video, I was talking about how I had a up with getting a supplier on board, and then a bit of a down, because if we had a failure of the supplier side of the site. We've got on top of that now. Supply side is back up. But what my job has been over this weekend around life is streamlining the site, make sure everything works, iron out a few of the niggles, and just make sure that the usefulness and the process of using the site is as streamlined and as good as possible. That's taken longer than expected. I expected to have it all done by Friday night, and yeah, I've hit a few niggles here and there that have taken a bit longer. And also, if you haven't watched my previous videos, I've been setting this up using a program called Replit. Now, Replit is an AI tool that builds apps and sites. Really good tool. However, as I explained some of the pitfalls in some of the previous videos, it's not as easy as just saying, AI, make me this site that does this. I wish it was, but everybody would be doing it. And some of the pitfalls you've got this site is there is a layer of subjectiveness. You'll have an AI tool that tries to chase its own leg. That's how I've been describing it anyway, where it's making changes and changes and changes and changes, and actually damaging itself or damaging the site. And also, you have to know how to troubleshoot what it's talking about. You have to have some technical knowledge of IT, and also you have to know how to ask it the right questions, which for someone, like say, who hasn't got a little bit of a knowledge on IT and a little bit of knowledge on their websites, I've set them up for in the past. Nothing as intricate as this. It can be quite hard to really get into the nitty-gritty of this site. So yeah, so I've been streamlining all this weekend, ironed out some behaviours that I wasn't happy about, wrote a list of stuff that I want to iron out in future that doesn't necessarily block the usage of the site, but just could be made a bit more appealing, a bit more better. But I'm just wanting to get this product continuing on the market and really start hammering to get suppliers on board, which we've already got Dart Oil, who've been really good to us already. Get some more suppliers on board, get some customers buying, and really just get some cash flow at the very least. Previous video I spoke about grants and finance. That's something I'm looking into this week. So I have a meeting for talking about some possible grants on, when is that? On Friday. And I'm also exploring some other avenues as well. But with them I need to sort of steer the site into what they're looking for. So more towards the renewable side of life and the AI side of life, which the AI side of life I was already planning for anyway, because of, well, that's a whole video in itself. Although I've done one before about AI, but I think I only scratched the surface. And really we need to be making sure the sites are compatible with AI as early and as much as possible, because of that's really going to take over. And then on the renewable front, I need to start looking at other products that can be used as an alternative to heat oil, like HVO, and start really trying to press suppliers and get customers aboard on that. And that's what I think will help me out on the grant front. That's really an update this week. Streamlining, getting on it, getting some finance, get some customers, get some suppliers, and hopefully that's where we start seeing some cash flow coming in and really start feeling the benefit of doing this site. And make it sound easy. I think I've just basically described the whole business process here, but I feel like we're not far off. I feel like we've got a long way to go, but the light's at the end of the tunnel at the moment. Yeah, so I'm feeling positive. with some apprehension at the same time. That's probably the best way to describe it. Now I'm just going through this gate. I'm going to have to lift Ebby over this fence as per. So I'll pause this. Back in. Turns out the fence is not even electrified anymore. I think the sheep have been moved out of the field. Makes my life easier. Now I am conscious I can feel a bit of spitting or rain coming. So just getting my excuses in early. I have to cut this video a bit shorter. I'm not sure of the waterproofness of this phone. It's a pretty old phone. I keep moaning I need to get myself a new one, but I'm actually thinking about investing into a bit of a GoPro for these videos. I suspect they're a bit easier to use and a bit more level, and certainly a bit lighter as I'm running about. Maybe even do a frame I can just put on me like a backpack and run around with that, so I don't have to have one hand on the holding the video and one hand holding the dog. I'll do a bit of research tonight around streamlining my site still. So yes, talking about the update. So streamlining my site, still got a way to go. I think that's always going to be something that's we're going to be doing, because we want to make this product as competitive as possible. So yeah, I feel that's something that's always going to be on the cards. Except in future, hopefully, I want to get it off of Replit. Not because it's a bad site. It's been useful to get as a product to market, but I want something that can be universally worked on. Something that doesn't charge me for making changes, because it charges for the use of energy. And maybe I'll continue on with a cloud-based solution on my site, but I'm probably more something that's more on the cheaper side, maybe looking at AWS or something like that. So what I want to talk about today, now we've done this update, now we're back to normal again for this video. Say back to normal. I've got, how many videos I've got? Is this the 13th video or 12th video? Make out of some long time podcaster or something. Yes, but back to what I originally planned this to be. Just going to go through this gate. So, what I want to talk about today is business plans. Now, just thought I saw someone there. I don't know how I feel about running past, filming these videos. Why is people running past? I've been particularly choosing areas. I've been choosing areas that have a lot less people around them. Which is quite good, because the village I live in is quite rural, so the pathways around here are not really utilised that much for walkers, maybe just farmers. So I've never ran past somebody doing this video. Maybe when I come a bit more established and people understand what my game is, and maybe I feel a bit less silly. But yes, so I want to talk about business plans today, because this is something I've had a learning curve on. It's something that I've got niggling in the back of my mind, and it's something I really need to get onto a bit more as well, because I want to basically tick all the right boxes. So when I set up this business, I put together a business plan, and I'm not going to lie to you, right? I was spitballing ideas at, I think, ChatGPT or Grok or one of the two. And you're always going to have a bit of a debate with them, really. And that's what I did. Start looking at figures and facts. Start trying what this idea would look like. Has anybody done something similar? How many homes use heating oil? How many of them are listed properties, so they're not likely to change their heating source anytime soon? You know, really going over ideas. But in the end, I went, ChatGPT, write me a business plan of what we've been talking about. And it did. Now, I'm very conscious, as I've given a warning in my previous videos, that you need to be careful with AI in that way. It's good, but I am fully aware that I don't want to be getting this business plan off of AI and sending it out straight away to people or potential investors or my business mentor, because it'll look crap, because it might not be relevant. At the very least, you might miss out some blocks where insert information here, and I want to make sure it's detailed as possible. But it's quite weird because I feel like it's almost like a bit of a CV, and I feel like you don't want to make it too detailed, especially if you're sending it out to somebody who, like an investor or someone that's looking at being a part of your business. You don't want to be too hardcore on it. By the way, this is what I'm saying here, right? Is my thoughts, what's going through my head. If anybody's listening to watching this, right, please correct me. Please let me know if I'm done something wrong. Please let me know your thoughts. But we're a business plan. I set it up to get as much as the necessary information in there, but not too much. It ends up turning into a bit of an encyclopedia. Yeah, so I've got what I aim to do. So in business, you know, heating oils, comparison site, data analytics, get the cheapest energy price for customers. My expansion is looking to go into HVO and other renewable energy sources. My funding at the moment is purely off my back until I can get some grants, and until maybe even this could take off and start making me a bit of money. I mean, I've gone up from 100% viewers from 3 to 6. So if I carry on that each video, you never know, in 20 years' time, I might be getting some wallet off this. But yeah, got in there, got my business plan. So yeah, got my funding strategy, got what to go into, description of the business, some of the risks involved. So I think one of my biggest risks at the moment is the renewable energy market, the government. So I know the government wants to push for net zero, and I don't really dive too much into net zero politics, because like you say, I want to try and keep business out. I want to keep business in this podcast. I want to keep politics out of this videos. But I know the government's trying to throw as much money as they can at it. So I know for a fact that, I don't know for a fact, but I know there's a risk that maybe the government could turn around one day and go, yeah, we're not selling boilers anymore. Or, yeah, we're going to put more tax on heating oil. And that could really change my customers and suppliers' buying habits. So that's a big risk. AI is another risk. You know, how people buy heating oil. So what I suspect is going to happen is in future, and I expect this, for example, in all phones, everything, I reckon you're going to have some sort of like, what do you call it? Kit. So, you know, everybody ever watched Knight Rider? I used to love Knight Rider when I was a kid. It was old then, but I used to love a bit of Knight Rider. And you had a car that basically could come to a sentient AI that could talk to David Hasselhoff's character where he's driving around. I suspect that's what's going to happen, but in your pocket. And when you order stuff, so say, I want to order heating oil, I reckon you're just going to ask your AI in your pocket to do it. Almost like your I don't know, like your personal Jeeves in your pocket to do it for you, your personal assistant. And I think a lot of visual based internet sites are going to be set to the wayside because of that. So that's why I'm really for trying to make this site as AI compatible as possible. I'm going up that big hill, the biggest hills in this area. I'd chop the camera around and show you, but I don't want to break the thing. I don't trust this phone, but it's a very big hill. Imagine the biggest hill you ever ran up. It's definitely that. But yeah, definitely AI is from the risk. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, for the risk of AI. So yeah, I've got it in my business plan. Try to write it like a CV, just to make it interesting. I've not done it like I did on Apprentice, with that guy that put a picture of a few circles on an A4 bit of paper. Not that bad. But I am quite nervous with it, right? Because is it enough? You know, I've not pushed it to anybody and had any criticism yet. So I've pitched my business to people around me, my business mentor, locally, and I think I've done quite well at that. But putting it on a paper and making it sound interesting, or putting to somebody that could possibly be helping out with on the financial side, I've not had yet, and it definitely makes me nervous. And I don't know if that's because I'm quite nervous about the business doing well. But yeah, definitely when I gave it to my mentor anyway. For those of you who don't know, the other week I spoke about it in a video. I now have a mentor, a business mentor who's from the Forces community, who's helping us out. And yeah, I suspect at the next meeting we're going to talk about it and hopefully see what he's got to say. But I guess in the gist of it is, your business plan needs to include what your business is going to do, how it's going to do it, what funding it's going to need, what risks, and how you're going to expand. Now, I found it when I wrote it, well, I got AI to write it. I also helped me out trying to work out how I'm going to expand. Now, I knew I was going to probably have to look into HVO. I knew I was probably going to have to look into pushing down the renewable side. The expansion into AI was something I sort of planned it to happen. It's like an expansion of sites sort of in that area. But it was quite excited to think about that. So if anybody, right, I'm on that stage where I've got to this next village, so I'm going to pause it. I'll see you on the other side. Back on it again. Got through the little village. Really nice little area to around here actually. I think it will get to a point where I don't really care about talking to my camera or phone. Isn't running through public areas. But that's not yet. I'm still not comfortable with this social media stuff yet. It's still all new to me, as I've spoken about in the past. But yes, back to business plans. So I also, I think, let's go from ahead at the moment. So I've spoken about what information I need to get in there. I've spoken about how, you see, quite eye-catching and easy to read. You have to get all the main stuff about your business. But one thing I also, when I started writing it, and over this past couple of weeks where I feel like things have changed, I almost felt bad adding to it. Like, how dare I deviate from what I planned from 2 or 3 weeks' time? But then I sat down and thought about it, and I'm like, surely business plans are quite dynamic. And what I mean by that is, right, is I've not moved away from the main objective, the main reason why I set up this, the main plan. I've just adapted the plan from what I need to do next, and that's what's with the funding and looking at the renewable side, and maybe looking at other future things as well on the energy front, which I'm going to keep under wraps for a few weeks. I don't really want to announce it yet, not because it's any risky or against what I'm doing, just that I feel like it'll be good content for later. So if you stay listening, you might learn some more. I know I also spoke about I was going to set up another business a few weeks ago, actually. That's still on the cards. Mothballed at the moment. I still don't want to quite talk about it yet. Those of you who might look on my LinkedIn might have a little bit of an idea what it was, what it is. But I tell you, my full focus at the moment is on Heat or Compare, and it will be for the next very few months at least. Few months at least. Just because of, although I've had the ups and downs, I'm thoroughly enjoying working on it at the moment. And this other business is going to be really good, but it's mothballed. Maybe if you subscribe, and like my videos, you might see it in the future. But yes, what's next? What's the solution then? What was the problem with business plans? Well, I never wrote one before. I don't know if you even had in the right information. I think I've detailed it enough. It's certainly helped me plan a bit of the future. I sort of understand it's going to have to be dynamic and adapted, or way more in depth. Another area is planning how much money I'm going to make off the site. I've kept that quite conservative. All I do know is that by the end of this year, the plan is to have some money generated from it. And my solution to my problem at the moment, or some of the anxieties with my business plan, is I've got my mentor looking at it, but he's very busy, so I fully understand if he doesn't have the time to look at it. But I suspect with my meetings next week about finance and me pushing that avenue more and more, I suspect my business plan will see more and more criticism and more adaptation and more streamlining, just like I'm doing on the main product itself over the next few weeks and months and years, hopefully. So I do honestly want this business to work. I've had quite a lot of late evenings and put quite a lot of time in it and money into it off my own back already. But yeah, I think that's quite a handsome, obviously talking about myself there. I think that's quite a good place to stop for today. I think I'll police it off here long enough. I'm sure you're all, if you managed to get this far, sick of my heavy breathing. I feel like these runs are getting easier talking, but it may not sound it. Ebby's getting fitter anyway. She's becoming less and less adverse to putting on a lead, but I'm there and running trainers and coming out with me. And hopefully later we'll end up becoming the same. But yes, if you're liking and watching, if you're liking my videos, liking my content, liking what I'm talking about, if you have got any helpful ideas or something I should be looking at, if you even just liking what I'm saying, liking that I'm going through this journey, liking that I'm showing you that it can be done, hopefully, and that you don't have to be a boffin, an anorak, or a business mogul to be able to do this. And you can, and hopefully I can prove and show you that we can steer around the politics of the day, and hopefully get people to a position with a digital business that they can earn a salary just like me, hopefully. Not yet, but will be. I'm visualising it. I'm going to say it's definitely going to happen. I'm going to get rid of the hopefully word. Maybe that'll definitely make it happen. But yes, if you tick any of them boxes I've just said, please like, please subscribe, please follow me on social media. Please get in the comments. Please, even if it's like going on my site and send me an email. Hopefully not hate mail. No hate mail, please. But just a bit of, even just a bit of, well done, Ellis, keep it up. I mean, I'm not asking to be bored up. I just sometimes it's nice to have a bit of feedback to see that you're doing the right thing. So please don't hold back on that. But yeah, I will hopefully then see you in a couple of days when I'm out crazily running with my dog, chatting. I'm not going to say nonsense because I don't think it's nonsense. Because I'd find this helpful if I was on the other side of this. Would I? Yeah, I would. But next installment of listening to me bleat on about my business. Yeah, see you there.